Hello everybody, and welcome to MechaWill Reviews. My name is MechaWill. I am an expert in the video game industry, expertly discussing video games with expertise. Today, I'd like to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. These games were a cultural phenomenon. They've been reviewed as good games, including scores averaging about 80 out of 100 on Metacritic for the first one, and about 70 out of 100 on Metacritic for the second one. Now I'm going to be straight with this review. I felt this game was vastly overshadowed by the standout hit of the year, which of course we all know is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. But before we get into that, let's get into the history of the franchise. Five Nights at Freddy's is a survival horror game created in 1993 by Square Enix. Of course, back in those days, the company was known as Right Triangle Enix, as the Square had not yet been fully formed. The lead developer on the game, Scott Cawthon, described the game as brutally easy, yet also incredibly difficult. The background in the original Five Nights at Freddy's is this. You are a new security guard for the pizza establishment known as Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. You spend 5 nights as a guard, defending yourself from the malfunctioning animatronics that are out to get you. You do this by checking their movement using security cameras, with a limited power supply connected to those cameras, your lights, and your emergency doors in case they get too close. Of course, as the game was so old in 1993, no one had yet figured out how to make characters move and give players autonomy, leaving it at a point-and-click game, which is understandable for that era. The game was remastered in 2014, yet it remained a point-and-click adventure for the sake of parody and nostalgia for all of us that had played the game back then. The game has recently seen a resurgence in popularity, with a sequel released mere months after the remaster, as well as the third in the series teased only a few weeks ago. But let's get down to it. Our review, of course, is of the remastered Five Nights at Lenny's, where I previously stated just seemed incredibly overshadowed by the greatest game series of all time, Call of Duty. It was hard to keep my attention off of Call of Duty while I was reviewing the game, and I see that as a major downside. There are a few flaws I would like to address in the game. The first one is a notable lack of guns. Obviously, we all know that adding guns to any game is a plus. It really strengthens the experience and the replayability of the title. This is clear, of course, in the Call of Duty franchise, which masterfully utilizes gunplay and replayability into their superb titles. There were times playing the sequel that I'd like to point out. In the sequel, the emergency doors are taken away and you are in effect more defenseless than ever before, save a mask to hide yourself and a flashlight. Now, I remember there was this one moment when I was playing Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and I noticed that I was being surrounded. So like down the hall, there was these animatronics that were coming after me. There are two animatronics down the hall, and then also on the vents to my side. It was in this moment that I thought to myself, what if I had a machine gun? I thought of that in 5 seconds, and immediately, you're like, wow, that made the game so much better. If I can make such an easy fix, the game could have easily done a better job. The second thing that was a huge downside for me was simple. There's no multiplayer in the game. Let's take a step back and look at all of the best games of this last generation. Games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty Black Ops. The list goes on. Games with incredible sales. What is it that they all have in common? Fantastic multiplayer. To me, multiplayer means not being repetitive. That's what a good multiplayer brings to the table, and that's why Call of Duty is so great. The fact that Five Nights at Freddy's didn't even attempt multiplayer is puzzling to me. For instance, imagine this. I'm just going to roll off the top of my head here. Just imagine this. A wolf howls in the distance. The ruins of an old city are surrounding you. The grass rustles. You turn, and you see Freddy Fazbear with an AK-47. You quickly run away, hoping that he hasn't caught you yet. You run up to a high point, and you switch your 9mm out for a sniper rifle. Freddy Fazbear is still skulking around in the place that you left him. You quickly aim, and boom! A crack hits the sky. A bullet pierces Freddy Fazbear's skull. he's dead. A notification pops up. Plus 10 minutes. Will you survive till 6 a.m.? Man, that is some of the ingenuity I'd like to see in games more nowadays. But it's not all downs with this game. There's great things to recognize about this game. First off, it's a survival horror game, which we really don't see too much of on account of them not being as good as first-person shooters. The franchise mixes startling surprises with simple gameplay in a less is more mindset that racks up tension in the player's mind. Having to split attention to different things in the game, even more so with Five Nights at Freddy's 2, really creates suspense. The game brilliantly takes most of the ability away from the players, leading to nerve-wracking experiences where you have to make do with what you can actually perform in the game. The game was well crafted and well made, although it has been reported to get repetitive by those who have already mastered its gameplay, as the depth really lies in not knowing exactly what you should do at a particular moment. The game has been criticized for lacking atmosphere, but all in all, it delivers startling gameplay experience that most players find perfect for streaming or playing with their friends. So here's my rating of this game. Unfortunately, the lack of guns and a multiplayer really took away from the experience for me. I found that I couldn't keep my attention on the game due to having dreams about Call of Duty. So all in all, this game just really fails for me. Along with the fact that Right Triangle Enix didn't capitalize on new technology to let your character move in the game, this overwhelmed most of what the game had going for it. Unfortunately, I'd have to give this game a solid 5.23 out of Call of Duty. If you didn't like what you just saw, please click the like button, and I'll tell you why. The more likes that I get on my videos, the more I can understand how much people don't like it. So if you really don't like the game, please hit the like button, and that will tell me definitively how many people don't like it. And so you can let me know that way easily by hitting the like button. Now, if you really hated my content, and I mean that truly, please click the subscribe button. And the reason for that is this. I am going to be putting out more videos, and so if you really hated this one, then I need you to kind of spread your hate over to my other videos. So if you can really do that for me, just click the subscribe button and tell everybody how much you hate it. Then please go ahead and do that. And if you just really didn't like it, then please just hit the like button and I'll get the message. So again, to go over it, if you didn't like the video, please click the like button and let me know. And if you really hated the video, please click the subscribe button so you can hate all of my other videos. If you did like the video, and if you didn't hate it, don't bother with either of those. You're totally fine. I just need to know, if you didn't like the video, click the like. And if you really hated it, please click the subscribe button and tell me more about how much you hated my videos. Thank you. My name is MechaWill, and I hope to see you again sometime on my channel.